Do you want to be able to freeze everything in Onslaught like this? Hey, what's up guys, it's Stasis, and in this video I'll be showing you a Warlock Stasis build that I've been using in the Onslaught activity, and I don't normally make build videos, but this build deserves its own. This has been the only build I've been using playing this activity, and it has made harder waves so much easier, and I genuinely think that this is the best Warlock build for the Onslaught mode. As you know, in the Onslaught activity, you are to protect the machine from waves of enemies, and what better way to stop enemies from moving is, yes, say it with me, stasis. To start the build, let's go over the aspects and fragments that I'm using. First off, I'm using the cold snap grenade to pair with the exotic, which I'll go over later in the video. The first aspect is Bleak Watcher, a stasis turret that will slow and freeze enemies, which is perfect for overload champions. And the next aspect is Ice Flare bolts that will spawn seekers that track and freeze nearby targets after shattering a frozen enemy. For my fragments, I'm using Whisperer bonds to generate orbs of power, which is important to synergize with my hand cannon, which I'll also talk about later. Whisper of Torment, this is to gain grenade energy when I take damage, which is perfect for me because I take a lot of damage in this mode. Whisper of Fissures, to increase the damage in the size of the stasis burst when I shoot a stasis crystal or a frozen target. And lastly, Whisper of Rending, which increases my primary weapon damage to a frozen target, which is also very important. For the exotic that we will pair with this build, try taking a lucky guess. If you guess right, it's the Osmomancy gloves. This exotic gives you an extra cold snap that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the seekers travel further. So when you're using these exotics, make sure that you try to direct impact enemies to recharge a grenade fully. The direct hit and it freezing an enemy both counts as recharge and allows you to spam infinite cold snaps like this. So in the Onslaught setting, the way I recommend that you use this exotic is that you throw down a Bleak Watcher, and as the turret slows and freezes targets, direct hit enemies with your cold snaps as much as you can. Although you're spamming your grenades, make sure you keep an eye out on your grenade charge so you're not left without any grenades after the enemies are gone. So now, let's talk about the weapons I'm using in this build. In the primary slot, I'm using the Kept Confidence, a strand hand cannon, and I highly suggest that you use a strand kinetic weapon for one reason. That reason is because of the artifact mod, Unraveling Orbs, that grants strand weapons unraveling rounds, which allows for better ad clear and more damage. While playing Onslaught, I am able to clear ads with just my hand cannon, and it does a great job, especially against the stronger enemies. For my energy weapon, I am now using one of my favorite weapons in the game, Adept Kindness. This weapon is great against barrier champions because it can one-shot the shield, it does great damage to stronger enemies, and the ammo economy with this weapon is amazing, and I never run low on ammo. I would also recommend running Buried Bloodline because you're able to proc Devour on kills, even on a stasis subclass, but I still don't have this weapon after many clears because my luck is terrible. And for my heavy weapon, I'm using Dragon's Breath for burst DPS against mini bosses and ignitions to clear ads. I also find myself switching to Leviathan's Breath and higher waves for tormentors or yellow bar bosses so that I'm able to stunlock them, preventing them from damaging the machine. As for my mods, I will quickly scroll through them and you can just copy what I have. But I will mainly focus on having good stat distribution between discipline, recovery, and resilience, which are the most important stats for this build. But that's all I have for the build. I will leave a dim link in the description if you want to copy it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this build and if you will be using it. Thanks for watching, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Destiny 2 content.